Hi, in today's video, I want to talk to you about how you can harness your sexual energy, which is sometimes referred to as sexual transmutation in tantric studies. I've also heard it called other things, but I'm not going to get into that today. But we're literally learning how this life force energy, which is within each and every one of us, how we can cultivate that to use it to our benefits for all. So, to begin to understand this, which by the way is a lifelong journey that I am forever on, um, but it's really important that you understand that sexual energy is life force energy, full stop. So, when I first heard about sexual transmutation, sex magic, I honestly just thought it was just another way that Westerners were trying to capitalize on these ancient esoteric practices by making it about sex. Yes, I will share in another video how I feel about this, but there is such a major sexualization of everything that tends to happen in the West. And I thought this was just another case of perhaps marketing strategy. But I want to share with you today some real honest truths and some of my own experiences about harnessing my own sexual energy. Now, I've always been a very easily turned on sexual person. My sexual energy has always been very potent, strong, and I remember experiencing it from as early as 5 years of age. Always been tuned into that part of myself. So I'm kind of noticed these energies within myself balanced out, and sometimes it was a little bit too extreme, especially in my 20s when I was into sex, drugs, and rock and roll. But now that I'm more in my 40s, my libido and my sex drive is even better, because I've learned how to cultivate this sexual energy for myself. So it's really brought me onto this journey of understanding my body and understanding what sexual energy, like, what is it? Like, there's so much more than what we've made it out to be. It's more than that animalistic drive to procreate. There's something else here. And so I started my Tantra journey working with different teachers, learning and reading so many books, seeking out as much help as I can. But by no means do I consider myself an expert. But I've learned especially a lot from this beautiful sexual Taoist master. His name is Mantak Chia. I'll leave his details in the description box below. But he, to me, is maybe the most refined when it comes to sexual education. It goes back 5,000 years of ancient text. He goes into great detail about what sexual energy is, what it was used for, and how we can actually utilize it to our benefit today. So I really have so much respect for my teachers, particularly to him, for learning some of these ancient wisdom that's been handed down to us. And we're so lucky today because it's freely available content you can get anywhere. So why is sexual energy so powerful? Why is it such a strong force in our life? Well, if you think about it, this is the energy of creation. It literally comes together and forms life, a human being inside of a woman's womb space. And that's powerful energy, yeah? So we can't deny that. So think of sexual energy as not just as a penis inside of a vagina. But think of it as this energy of creation, of creativity, of generation, fertility. Yeah. So how can we use this energy in our lives to create the life you want? Not necessarily to create babies if that's not your choice, but I mean to generate abundance, to generate health, to generate love. What do you want? Yeah. So as I go on, I definitely will share more of my story with you and how I got to this point. So it's really important that you tune in to what your truth is about this topic. But we cannot deny the fact that sexual energy is one of the most powerful energies that exist. You might be the type of person that's on the scale where sexual energy is excessive, where it's hyper aroused, if you're tuned into your energy in that way. Or you might be the complete opposite, where you feel nothing, you're numb. Yeah, so we're going to touch on both of those. But if it's hyper arousal, then it takes you away from your purpose because you're so distracted by sexual thoughts, perhaps. So it really takes you away from your purpose that you are on. So no matter where you are on your spectrum with your sexual energy, I'm going to help you understand this perhaps in a little different perspective. But it's all about tuning in to how you feel within yourself. Yeah. But I'm sure you'll be able to resonate with some of the topics in this video. So this video is for everybody of all genders. Yeah. Anyone can practice these things and learn. We're not necessarily talking about specific sexual genitalia, what to do with them, the size. We're not talking about this. We're working with this energy. We're talking about as your essence in and of itself. So first, I want you to understand sexual energy from a very new perspective. And in Mantak Chia's book, he references sexual energy from traditional Chinese medicine and Taoist philosophy. Some really important key points. And he says that there are three main energies. He calls them Qing, Qi, and Sheng. All of these three energies are interrelated. So this is really a practice of becoming a master of your own overall energy. Yeah. So in female bodies, for example, this Jing energy works to make the eggs. It creates the uterine lining and the hormones. And it's also responsible for keeping us feeling sexually active, if you like. So responsible for our libido. And for male bodies, this sexual energy or Jing energy is active in the form of semen, hormones, and also libido. And it promotes overall energy and vitality. And in all people, this Jing sexual energy, for example, is stored in the kidneys. Okay, so this promotes kidney function, life force energy, your battery packs. Yeah. So it's very important to understand that as a holistic being, everything works together as a unit. For example, we are hyper aroused and we're masturbating excessively with no conscious awareness of our overall energy. It is said that we deplete our energy or chi energy rather than just cultivating that sexual energy and bringing it upwards, which I'll describe in a moment, rather than losing. And majority of men lose their sexual energy or life force energy from ejaculating, whereas woman loses it mostly from her menstrual cycles per month during their menses years. In fact, menstruation takes about 30 to 40% of a woman's daily overall energy. Now, if you go to Mantak Chia's books, there's some incredible data on this. So when he says this life force energy runs out and depletes, you can't get it back. Yeah. So this energy is connected to all the other aspects of our lives. It's really important to understand how to harness your sexual energy, consciously knowing how to recycle this using Tantra practices so it's not being wasted and leaked out through unconscious patterns and programs. Yeah, so, and the way we can increase these incredible energies is a practice called transmutation. Sexual transmutation is literally moving the sexual energy away from the genitals, up the spine, and upwards towards this area of our body or to different parts of the body, all the different organs. We're not going to go into that practice today. I'll do that in another video. But it's really a powerful tool to understand what this sexual energy does. And if we bring conscious awareness to it, we can actually increase our lifespan, like literally. We're younger, say from age 18 to 28, you generally have a lot of life force energy. And so people who are younger tend to have more, let's call it volatile sexual energy, abundance of energy. Yeah. And they don't know what to do with it. They're not consciously aware of where this energy is going. And it gets to a point where tension builds up and they need to release it. Yeah. And maybe they have some destructive coping mechanisms, which we won't touch on today. But usually people like this will channel their energy into something else as a coping strategy. And oftentimes in our society, it's channeled into things like stimulants, alcohol, smoking. What else do we have? Having excessive sex is another one, or watching a lot of porn, or doing any type of drugs. So really anything that helps channel the energy out of the body, and that's the burnout effect that happens, and you actually literally deplete your life force energy. Yeah. So we need to understand how we can use this sexual energy to get shit done, literally. Yeah. Using these ancient tantric practices rather than leaking out your life force energy into these distractions and stimulants that are literally sucking you. Your battery packs are on low, sometimes empty. Often there's a misconception that, if I recycle my sexual energy, then I'm not going to desire sex anymore, or I'm not going to be able to masturbate, or I can't have sex and become celibate. And that's not true. Yeah. But perhaps what has happened, even from my own personal experience, that the more I work with converting my Qing and my Qi energy to Shen energy, the less I have a desire to need sex, yeah, or to needing anything to keep me on tap. Yeah, I don't need outside stimulants to keep my energy in balance. And that's a very important thing to note. I used to smoke a lot of cigarettes in my 20s. I used to drink a lot of alcohol also in my 20s, but it was draining me. Yeah, and it was also unfulfilling, and it was an unconscious choice. I used to also unconsciously watch a lot of porn and masturbate to it. And I always felt exhausted after it. And yes, it would feel relaxing and good sometimes, but over time, I was drained. My life force energy was leaking, and it wasn't energizing me in the way that I really wanted it to. And I started to see this connection between staring at a screen and unconsciously doing something to my body rather than being present in my body with what's going on inside of me. How do I feel? What do I need? It's about being present with yourself, being aware of how your body feels. It's about the art of slowing it down and tuning into your subtle energies. This is the key. This is the answer to everything about being a master lover, being able to last longer in bed, to even being able to write a book. You know, that's what we do with this sexual energy if you choose, obviously, not to create children in this lifetime. If you have a desire to masturbate, it's really important to check in with yourself. Is it something that's really taking you away unconsciously to this animalistic unconscious impulse to act upon it? Or is it coming from your spirit, from your soul, that you really desire to pleasure yourself right now because it would feel good in my body and it would bring me peace and make me more present? So learning to distinguish between the two is very important. And this is where embodiment practices and meditation become imperatively important. But it just means you need to take the time to tune in. How did these thoughts start? Is this thought or desire trying to take me away from what I'm currently focused on in my life? Or do I generally just have an authentic desire to pleasure myself, to expand my heart, to have my soul nourished? Yeah, so this takes practice, and it really requires practicing mindfulness and conscious awareness of where am I feeling this in my body. You could say that this is the beautiful Tantra path or the spiritual awakening pathway, which is about beginning to become aware, and we don't have to no longer be controlled by the animal brain anymore. Yeah. And it really requires you to wake up to your senses and how you're feeling in each moment, and beginning to evolve out of this fight and flight amygdala response to stimulants or life in general, and to more bringing more loving conscious awareness of our subtle energy body. That is the path of love, of fulfillment, of happiness, and the path of sexual transmutation. So this is, I suppose, where the manifestation piece comes in, which I'm not going to go into too much in this video, but it's about moving away from animal instinctive impulses to becoming a creator of life, the master of manifesting the life of your dreams, health, vitality, more love, more happiness, more peace. Yeah? And this is possible. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. I hope you learned something new. This video will be continued. I will definitely be producing more and more of these so we can re-educate ourselves and evolve into higher versions of ourselves. Namaste.